قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين. قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم. قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون. وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون. أأتخذ من دونه آلهة يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون. إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين. إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون. قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين. وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين. إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون. يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون. ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون. وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون. وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون. وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون. سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون. وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون. والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم. والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالأرجون القديم. لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون. وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون. وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين. وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديهم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون. وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين. وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم سلام قولا من رب رحيم صدق الله العلي العظيم.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. حديث الكساء. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. عن فاطمة الزهراء عليها السلام بنت رسول الله قال سمعت فاطمة إنها قالت دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة فقلت عليك السلام قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا فقلت له أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به فآتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ وكأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. اللهم صل على محمد. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن عليه السلام قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه فقلت عليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي فقال يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي قد أذنت لك فدخل معه تحت الكساء. الله صل على محمد وآله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين عليه السلام قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. فقلت نعم، إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه، السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. الله صل على محمد وآل محمد. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله. فقلت نعم، ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وصي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال وعليك السلام يا ابنتي ويا بضعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد. فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وأومأ بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، واذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان السماوات، إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. اللهم صل على محمد. فقال جبرائيل يا ربي أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله: نعم، قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام، ويقول لك: وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية، ولا أرضا مدحية، ولا قمرا منيرا، ولا شمسا مضيئة، ولا فلكا يدور، ولا بحرا يجري، ولا فلكا يسري، إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله: وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله، إنه نعم، قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. فقال لأبي: أن الله قد أوحى إليكم ويقول: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. فقال علي لأبي: يا رسول الله، اخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله: والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا، إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة، واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذن والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. اللهم صل على محمد. فقال أبي: رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله: يا علي، والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا، وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله همه، ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه، ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذن والله فزنا وسعدنا، وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
صل على محمد وآل محمد. जब कोई लौटे न तो बीमार सुगरा क्या करे, जब कोई लौटे न तो بیمار صغرا کیا کرے، گھر کے دروازے پہ سب کا راستہ دیکھا کرے، جب کوئی لوٹے نہ تو بیمار صغرا کیا کرے، جلد پائے اپنی منزل خیر سے گزرے سفر، خط میں لکھا ہے یہ صغرا نے کہ بابا آپ پر مشکلوں کی دھوپ میں، مشکلوں کی دھوپ میں میری دعا سایہ کرے، جب کوئی لوٹے نہ تو بیمار صغرا کیا کرے، اکبر کڑی الجوار اصغر غنچہ دہن، خیریت سے لوٹ آئیں بھائی تو دکھیا بہن، منتیں پوری کرے اور منتیں پوری کرے اور شکر کا سجدہ کرے، جب کوئی لوٹے میں حال دل کس سے کہے اور کس سے کیا شکوا، نیزہ اور خنجر لیے کیا کرے، گھر کے دروازے پہ سب کا راستہ دیکھا دیکھا کرے، جب کوئی لوٹے نہ تو بیمار صغرا کیا کرے۔ صلوات اللہم صلی علی
بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللہ۔ کہتی تھی یہ ماں خون بھری میت سے لپٹ کر، ہائے ہائے علی اکبر، ہائے ہائے علی اکبر، ارمان تھا پہناؤں گی پوشاک شاہانی، افسوس کہ رسائی نہ تجھ کو یہ جوانی، کیسا تھا مقدر، ہائے ہائے علی اکبر، 18 برس پال کے پروان چڑھایا، وہ گیسوؤں والا ہے میرا خون میں نہایا، کیا ہو گیا دلبر، ہائے ہائے علی اکبر، ٹھہرو کہ میں 18ویں منت تو بڑھا دوں، پھر لے کے بلائیں تجھے جینے کی دعا دوں، صدقے ہوئے مادر، ہائے ہائے علی اکبر، تم ہچکیاں لے لے کے جو دم توڑ رہے ہو، عموما سے ہمیشہ کے لیے موڑ رہے ہو، کیوں روٹھے ہو دلبر، ہائے ہائے علی اکبر، پہلے تو ایک آواز پہ اٹھ جاتے تھے بیٹا، اب اتنی صداؤں پہ بھی پہلو نہیں بدلا، کیا ہو گیا دلبر، ہائے ہائے علی اکبر، کہتی تھی یہ ماں خون بھری से लिपट कर हाय हाय अली अकबर हाय हाय अली अकबर पर मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि
पर मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सलवात सल्ले अला Muhammad वाले Muhammad वज्जिल फरजहू. Now I would like to invite Maulana Muhammad Beg Sahab on the member with loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.
Please recite a Surah Fatiha for the Shuhada of Islam and for all of your marhumeen. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلاته والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما بقية الله الأعظم روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. One of the conditions for the Imam's reappearance that is related to the relationship of us, Shias, amongst each other, is the condition of Muwasat. Muwasat is something that the Imams have said is necessary to be established amongst Shias before the Imam can reappear, before he can come back. So this muwasat, a lot of times it's said to be like sadaqah or charity. It is not charity. It is not a charity. And when we look at it, yesterday I spoke about the individual aspect and how to make this muwasat appear in us as an individual. You can brand it as infaq, as giving. But in fact, infaq is more than just sadaqah or khums or zakat. Infaq is a lot deeper and much broader in sense. When you see that Hazrat Abul Fadl al-Abbas in his relationship with Imam Hussein, so what was his relationship? I mean, I'm not talking about him being a brother or relative. No, this sort of, what was he doing for Imam Hussein? What is it that he was giving? If you read the ziyarat of Hazrat Abbas that we read all the time, he says, Ashhadu laqad nasahta lillahi wa li rasulihi wa li akhika. Right? فَنِعْمَ الْأَخُ الْمُوَاسِي. That Hazrat Abbas did muwasat with Hussein. Muwasat means he gave everything up for Hussein. He spent it all for Hussein. Everything that he had belonged to Hussein. Akhul Muwasi, Muwasi, this is what it means. Giving up everything you have for the cause. Giving up everything that you have. Thinking that what I have belongs to the cause. What I have belongs to my Imam. What I have belongs to the community. You see, this is Muwasat. And it's a way of life. It's a lifestyle. It's not just an action, but it's a lifestyle. And the Imams are encouraging us to adopt this lifestyle, to make us have this sort of thinking amongst ourselves that all of us are one, and each one of us is for all, so that whatever we possess, whatever our property is, whatever we have, in any way, we see it as being served for all of us. You see, this is a thinking to have. Now, as an individual, I spoke about the importance of giving yesterday. And first of all, why is it hard for people to give? I mean, they can't even give up their money, let alone their life. You know? I mean, at first, Allah says, okay, at first you give up your money. Then I'll ask for your life later. So we lose out in the first stage. We're not even ready to give up our property, our money. So, in yesterday's hadith from Imam Sadiq, he advised us that if you want to gain the spirit of giving, then the best way, the secret to that is that you should think and you should know that whatever you have is not yours. It doesn't belong to you. It is temporarily in your hand as an amanat from Allah. It belongs to Allah. And hence, once you know that what I have belongs to Allah, then what will happen? It will be easy for you to give it. It will be easy for you to part with it. Now let's read some hadiths, because what we want to do is that from that individual self, how do we make this into a culture that all of us are following? First of all, let me read some hadiths regarding muwasat. So you hear it from the Imams themselves about the subject, lest you think I'm making it up, right? Because usually it happens, when you speak of a new subject, people then hear, we never heard this. Okay, if you never heard this, this is not the fault of Ahlul Bayt that you didn't hear it. They have said it, and they have spoken of it, and they have spoken of the importance of it. So let's talk it from their speech itself. Let's send the salawats. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali, Imam Ali alayhi salam, it says, Ma hufizatil ukhuwa bimithli al-muwasat. He says nothing protects brotherhood, community, and the love in the community. Nothing protects it like Muwasat, like establishing the culture of Muwasat in a community amongst the people. This brotherhood, this love, this attachment that we have, there's nothing that's going to protect it. There's nothing that's going to keep it together like having Muwasat. Muwasat is a glue that brings people together because they are attached to each other in a real sense, both in spirit and in tangible needs. They're attached to each other, just like a family is. When you see, for example, a family, father, husband, wife, children, people inside a family, you see that how they're attached to each other. Well, what makes them so attached? Really, what do you think makes them attached? Do you think it has anything to do with blood? Really, look at it. Do you think it has anything to do with blood? No, really. For example, if you lost your son while he was a kid and then you meet him again when he's an adult, would you have the same relationship with him? He's going to be a stranger for you, and you will be a stranger for him. You won't have that relationship. Then what makes us so close in a family? The reason that families are close, my friends, because they have a relationship that is tangible, coexistence, depending on each other, working with each other, setting the same goals, and everyone trying to reach those goals together. So you see that family come together and become one because they see the other person as a part of their own goal. This is how a community or a people come together. This is through the system of Muwasat, of having that in ourselves. That's how Imam is saying it. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Imam Baqir alayhi salam, he asked a companion, Ya Hajjaj, kayfa tawasikum? How do you do Muwasat? Meaning you as your friends and everyone, where you're from, your community. How do you do Muwasat? So the narrator, the friend says, Salihun, we help out our poor people. We make sure that our poor people are taken care of. Alhamdulillah, like that. So the Imam said, يدخل أحدكم يده في كيس أخيه فيأخذ حاجته إلى احتاج إليه. Do you have this habit that anyone who's in need can put their hands in the pocket of someone else and take out what he needs? Do you all have this habit? And the guy says, Amma hadha fala. No, we don't do that. We don't do that. Meaning we're not that close. We're not that close to each other that we allow each other to take what they want from each other. And the Imam was like, okay, same as what he said the other time, where for the other person he said that until this doesn't happen, the Imam is not going to come back. Zuhur will not happen until this is established in the Shias, in the Mu'mineen. Yes. In another hadith, he says, the Imam says, لم تتواخوا على هذا الأمر وَإِنَّمَا تَعَارَفْتُمْ عَلَيْهِ. He says that you haven't become brothers. He's trying to tell the Shias, you haven't become brothers under wilayat yet. You just know each other. You all just know each other. In other words, my friends, when we call this, let's say, I don't know, here, an organization, it's the right word for it. It's the right word for it. For example, this organization here, we have a center here. Center is the right word for it. Because it's not a community yet. It is not a community. It is an organization where people come together to have programs and such things, which is what we have reached. Imam is saying that you Shias are not brothers under our wilayat yet. You just know each other. Yes, he's a Shia, he's a Shia, he's a Shia. That's it. You just know that. You're not brothers yet. You haven't become, you don't have ukhuwat yet. This Imam is saying, Imam Baqir. Imagine that. In that time, he's saying that you Shias, you just know each other. This is something to think about for us. Really, are we brothers under the wilayat of Ahlul Bayt, or are we just, yes, I know him, mashallah, he's a Shia also, and alhamdulillah, he's a Shia also, and this and that. That's what happens. Why are we not brothers? We can see it, this and that. Am I dealing with this person like I would deal with my brother? Am I dealing with this child like I would deal with my son? For example, if I see him, let's say someone, doing something wrong, like smoking, vaping, or something like that, am I going to walk by, if I see my son doing that, would I be like, my son's vape, I just saw him vape, Will that be our attitude? Of course not, right, with our son? We'll be like shocked, first of all. We'll, go and, really show our, sadness. Why are you doing this for? You never told me this. You're up to this. We'll feel a little bit like that. So when I see someone else who's a Shia doing this, when I walk by, am I going to feel the same way? Or I'll be like, it's not my problem. When it's not your problem, it means he's not related to you. You have no relationship with him. Why is it not your problem? It should be your problem if you are a Shia. My friends, this is where it's so important. When we read hadith regarding this, then you understanding how deep this issue is and how important this issue is to the Imams. And why they are speaking in such a way. La ilaha illallah. Like for example, one time Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he was asked about the rights of Shias on each other. He was asked about the rights of Shias on each other. So his answer to that was that you can't bear to listen to it. Go away, it's not for you. But I want to know the rights of Shias. He says, well, you can't handle it. You can't deal with it. Okay, but the guy insisted, so the Imam listed out a few rights that Shias have on each other. And then after listing out a few rights, then the Imam said to the guy, listen, that's enough for you. I think you can't handle more than that. Try to do what I said, but there's a lot more than what I said. Imagine that, the idea of mu'mineen having rights on each other is a lot, my friends. It's a lot, they are like, they should be like so close to each other. So close to each other. You know, Imam Ali alayhi salam once complained. He said once he started to complain, and he says, "Innama antum ikhwanun ala deen Allah." He says, "You are brothers on the religion of Allah, on Allah's deen. Allah made you brothers. Ma farraka bainakum. There's no difference between you. Illa khubthul thara'ir wa su'ud dhama'ir. There's no difference between you except the dirtiness of your own characters. Because of the dirt that's in your characters and inside you, you divide and have conflict with each other. Otherwise, there's no difference between you all. We look at you as the same way. Why are you fighting each other when we are seeing you the same way?" He says, you don't visit each other. You should come to America and see, because there people at least used to, right, in those days, but nowadays, drop by someone's house. Like, what are you doing here? I came to meet you, Thinking of you, I just came by to meet you. Well, you should have called, made arrangements, got an appointment. People are actually upset that you came by. And so this is, how far we are from each other. La ilaha illallah. He says, that you don't empathize with each other. There's no empathy for you all. If something bad happens to someone, you're like almost feeling nice about it. He lost his car. Well, why are you feeling nice about that? Oh, the other masjid burned down. Really? And you're happy about it. Really? That's your relationship with each other? This is what Imam Ali is saying. You have no empathy for each other, no sympathy for each other. At this moment is whatever he's going through. He's still a Shia. He says, Ashhadu anna Aliyan Waliullah. He cries for Imam Hussein. Well, that's what he's saying. You don't spend for each other. Third thing he says, you don't spend for each other. If he's in need, do you spend for him to get him out of his need? No. Nor do you befriend each other. You know each other. Trust me, friends, I've been in different communities. People, they see each other in the masjid for, 15, 20 years, but still they don't know where the other guy lives. Never once went to their house, but you meet each other in the masjid. Yeah, brother, I know you from the masjid. For how many years? 20 years. Well, do you know where I live? Do you know what I do? You see, again, why not? Why aren't we interested? We don't befriend each other. This is Imam Ali who's complaining regarding Shias. So listen to the complaints of Imam Ali. And at least just, take it to yourself that, hey, these are things I need to change. We need to change. This culture is something that we need to change. We can't live like this. And here Imam Ali is saying, look at you all, you're doing like this, living like this. This is something serious for us. La ilaha illallah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. My friends, Muwasat is not a charity. When we say like Muwasat, you spend for each other, you give to each other, it's not a charity. We always look at these things like a charity. Yes, sadaqah is a small part of it. Sadaqah is a small part of it. Zakat is a small part of it. But that's not the meaning of Muwasat. This is not a welfare program, a food stamp program, or, some other program to help the poor and the downtrodden. Whenever people think of anything that has to do with giving, their minds right away think of charity. Let's make a charity. Bro, why are we thinking in those terms? That's not how you think, my friends, of Muwasat. This is not what it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, we are programmed to think in a secular way. living in America, we have been programmed for that. That if we have poor people in the community, you think that, okay, let's make a program for poor people. Let's put this zakat money together, sadaqah money together, and help out the poor by making a system. Just make an application form for them. They write down what they need and how horrible their life is, and let them apply. And then, we'll make a system of points and say that who is the most needy, we'll give them that. At first, this is not an Islamic way of dealing with this. This is a completely Western way of dealing with this. Issues in community. This is completely wrong. That's what happens in food stamp program, welfare program. When has it ever helped anyone? Never helps anyone. And you know what? This is what happens. Because you can't put a system to help people. Allah put people to help people. We have to be there for each other, not a system, not a program. I should be helping the brother. Oh, you know what? I made the system. Let it take care of him. No, I should be like, okay, he should not be a victim of a system. That now he's a victim. He's like looking at things like, please help me, the system will help me. No. My brother, when you are in trouble, I am there for you. If your child, is in danger or is poor or something like that, like, would you think that, okay, you know what? He's going to go through welfare. He'll be all right. He'll get his food stamps. No, you won't. He's my son. Let me take care of him. You'll feel that feeling, that love that you have is what's needed. Because then you will see what's best for him, not just money you give him and that's it. People have to be there for them. So these are issues that have to be handled through ourselves. We need to be loving each other and being there for each other. Yes, my friends. Now, when we look at it, yes, Muwasat is as an individual and as a society. The Imams are saying that as a society, you have to be what? You have to be doing Muwasat, having the culture of Muwasat. Everything in Islam, every item in Islam has a social and political aspect. You cannot escape it. Every thing that you might be thinking, this is so spiritual, so this and that, the real purpose behind it is not spirituality. The real purpose behind it is social and political. Anything. Like Azadari of Imam Hussain. Crying for Imam Hussain. You would think that this is between me and Hussain. I love Hussain. Tears are coming out crying for Imam Hussain. Yes, it's an individual. But more important than that, much more important than that, if it was just individual, then yes, you should cry. Only cry. You should cry. Well, how about if you can't cry? Let's say that you sit in the majlis, masaib are going on, everyone else is crying, and you're like looking at each other. Like, why can't I cry? Why can't I cry? What did Imam Sadiq say? He says, cry. If you can't cry, make the face of crying. Pretend to cry. Make the noise of crying. Why, Imam? If I don't feel it, isn't this supposed to be an individual thing? Just me and my relationship with Imam Hussain? No, it's not supposed to be a religious thing. It's not supposed to be an individual thing. Then what? This is a movement. This is a revolution. Even if you are unable to shed tears, make a face of crying and make noise of crying so that you can be a part of this revolution. So it's more than an individual. It has a social aspect. It has a political goal behind it. There's a reason that this crying is there. Everything in Islam, my friends. Jamaat prayer, social aspect. Khums, social aspect. Zakat, social aspect. Hajj, social. Where can we go that's not a social aspect? Everything has a political aspect to it. It has to. That's what deen is. Deen didn't come here to make us good people. Deen came here to make us a society that will accept Allah's laws. That's what deen is for. Allah, He tells about the prophets. Why did they come for? So that, they can make you a good person. No, that's not what they came for. It's لِيَقُومَ النَّاسَ بِالْقِسْطِ, so that they can establish people and society with justice. That's what they're here for. Everything in Islam is for that reason. And when you take that out, Islam becomes Hinduism. Yes. Then you're on your own and, you're some sort of individual, whatever you have. Nothing. You reach nirvana somehow. This is not the purpose of Islam or deen. Deen is about us being together, making a society. Now we have that tangible goal of bringing back our Imam. Being there to do whatever is needed for the zuhur of our Imam. That's what it's for now. It's a tangible goal we have. My friends, we need to establish that this infaq is not sadaqah. This muwasat is not sadaqah. Really look in its mind, we as a people need to start. You as a community, not you and Chicago, you and this. No, first you just start here. The people that you know already, people that you're close to. You need to come together and say that, you know what, if we want to bring our Imam back, then let's live a life like that. We can be there for each other. Even if it's 5 people, it doesn't matter. How many were Ashab Kahf? That's it. Just you are there. Live your life like that. Why? Because we want the Imam to come back. And we want to establish that lifestyle that we have. Your car broke down? Here, use my car. Use my car. MashaAllah. You don't have a place to live? Come and live with me. Please come and live with me. Like you need working capital for your business? Okay, good. Let me give you the working capital. It's your business, but I want you to make sure that you're not in trouble. Go forward with it. You don't have the credit to rent an apartment? Use my credit. Friends, this is it. This is the lifestyle. This is the lifestyle. And when that happens, when you become a community like that, then the Imam said, you will never see anyone in need. Everyone will have the support of the community. They know that. And they'll all work to become stronger so they can make the community stronger. This is how it's done. This is how it's done. Are we ready for that? Yes. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. My friends, what are the results of this style of lifestyle? What will happen? Well, here's something what happens, right? I'll give you something. Number one thing is that you will care for Islam when you start giving. You start caring for Islam. A long time ago, I was at a youth camp, and usually in youth camps you have Q&A sessions, and they're often ever boring, because they ask the same questions over and over again, and you get the same answer over and over again, and there's nothing new about it. So what happened is that in that Q&A, there was one kid. He was young, and I think as a joke, he asked a question. Maybe he asked as a joke. But that was one of the only interesting questions I've ever heard in my life at a Q&A session, right? Now, he asked as a joke, and everyone laughed at it also when he asked it, right? So he just, he was like brash about it, and he came out and he just said that, okay, Maulana, my question is, what if Islam fails? Yeah, what if Islam fails? All these things that you say, Imam is coming back, this and that. Well, what if it all fails? It doesn't come back. Okay. And I thought that was interesting. That was very good. At least someone asked an interesting question. So, I mean, it was a very good question because really that process of thinking is in the minds of many people. But they don't ask it. They don't express it. But he asked. You know what I asked him? I said, okay, fine. Whether it'll succeed or fail, okay, let's leave all that to the side. I just asked him, how much do you care whether it succeeds or fails? What's it to you? Do you care? If it fails, do you care if it succeeds? I mean, if you don't care, it has nothing to do with you, right? How much do you care about it? My friends, this is where the point is. How do we care about Allah's deen? Really, how do we care? Once, this stock market, I have the app on my iPhone, stock market app. Trust me, I never look at that. I never looked at that. I didn't even know what those things are, right? Those numbers, this and that, this and that. One time, someone gave me the advice of investing money in the stock market. It was bad advice because he asked me to, invest in BlackBerry. So, I invested some money in BlackBerry. It wasn't that much. I invested some money in the stock, right? And then after that, I realized that every morning and night, I'm looking at that app saying, is it going up? Is it going down? Is it going up? Is it going down? Now I'm like attached to the growth of this thing. Is it making money? Is it losing money, right? I'm looking into that. And you know what? Then you realize that why am I interested in this? You see, the reason why people become interested in anything is because they invest in it. Because they invested in it. My friends, infaq is an investment you make in deen. Because when you make an investment, you start to get interested. Is it going well? Is it going bad? What's happening? You start becoming concerned. This is how Allah created this system of infaq and sadaqah and charity. Now, friends, if I invest, really, how much should you invest then? How much should you do infaq? You know how much? Like, for example, if I give $100, it's not a big deal, right? $100. Even if I lose it, I don't care. I don't care if I lose it also. So I'm not that much concerned. Let's raise it a little bit. How about 1,000? Okay, I might see it a couple of times. How about if I invested 10,000? Okay, now now you got my attention. All right? Let's see that. Now if I invest my life savings in it, what happens if I invested my life savings in it? My friends, now your goal, your failure and success now becomes the failure and success of that investment. Meaning that if that investment succeeds, you succeed. If that investment fails, you fail. So imagine that now with this investment that I made, I am completely attached to this goal of mine. How much should you do infaq? How much should you invest? So much that now your success depends on the success of Islam, and your failure depends on the failure of Islam. This is how much you should invest. And until you don't become like that, it means you haven't invested enough. You haven't given enough. This is how it works. We haven't invested anything. So we don't care if the Imam comes back or not. It's not a big deal. Imam will come back, inshallah. That's what we heard. Because we haven't invested that much in it. We haven't given that much in it. Once you start giving that much, then you will be like, you know what? My life depends on him coming back. My success depends on him coming back. Then it will become real for you that Imam is coming back. La ilaha illallah. This is the way it is. You understand how things work for us. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Second reason you should do Muwasat. Second result of Muwasat. What happens when you do Muwasat and have this lifestyle of giving for each other, working together to do things? What will happen with that? My friends, if you do that, then people like Abu Musa Ash'ari will never be imposed on Imam Ali. Yes. Can you imagine a person like Abu Musa Ash'ari, a two-bit hustler, is now imposed on Imam Ali, that Imam Ali has to make him his representative? Yes. Imam Ali was forced to make Abu Musa Ash'ari his representative, meaning that Abu Musa Ash'ari is going to decide for Imam Ali. Whatever he says, Imam Ali will have to follow it. Can you imagine what sort of a position Imam Ali was put in? And who put him there? Who put him there? The ignorant poor people. The ignorant poor people who are depending on rich people. And because they're poor, they think that these rich people will give them something. And then they have a hope that, you know what, I just need to stick to some rich guy and he's going to give me something. And because of that, when it comes for me to decide on something, I will decide against Imam Ali. Why? Because, hey, you know what, this guy is rich. He's my friend. I can't go against him. This is what happens. This is what happens to us. And then you have these people who are imposed on Imam Ali. And you see this Abu Musa Ash'ari, a good for nothing, hustler. That's what he is. He doesn't care about Muawiyah. He's like, whatever, The poor people, whatever you decide, you have the money. This is what happens, my friends. The second thing, when we have Muwasat and everyone has the support of the community, they will never lean to those rich people who will try to influence them, to vote on their side. Really, if a person here in America, right, if a person who's poor, let's say who's poor, wants to vote for a party in America, let's say like this, why would you vote for someone who looks down on poor people, who hates you, who despises you. But these poor people vote for such a person. And the reason they vote for such a person is because they think that, hey, he's a rich guy, he knows. This is what happens when people are poor and they don't have any help. But when there is a group of people that is there to support each other, then they don't need to bow down to rich people. They don't need to bow down to those people who are trying to get them and make them do things that even if they don't want to do it, they do it. That's the way it is. So this is the second result of not having muwasat, not having the support of each other. The third, final thing that I'll mention, and that's it just for us to understand this, right? My friends, when you have muwasat, when you don't have muwasat, what happens? What happens is that the people who have rich are going to get richer. The people who are poor are going to get poorer. And then it ends up into a very bad society where, I don't know, less than 1% of the population has over 90% of the wealth. And the 99%, they are trying to share in the 10% of the wealth. Now, where would such a bad society be? You know, I mean, this is what happens. When you don't have muwasat, this is what ends up happening. Like a handful of people end up ruling you. That's what happened in Islam also. Bani Umayyah, they just became richer. The rest of the people became poorer. Bani Abbas became richer. The rest of the people became poorer. That's how it happened. Why? Because there is no muwasat. There is no system that we all can help each other and grow together. And that's why the Imam is saying, adopt this system of muwasat that we are saying. It's not just charity. It is brotherhood. It is us being together, helping each other grow. Making sure we are on the back of each other to make sure no one falls. If someone falls, we all get together to pull him up. This idea of muwasat is what the Imams are saying that the Shias will have before the Imam comes back. Before the Imam comes back. Otherwise, what happens is that the Imam is left alone. You know, the Imam is left alone. When you don't have that, when you don't have that group that is strong, that don't have to worry about these things of falling down, then you know what? The Imam is there. The Imam plays a huge role in this. In this system and in this culture, the Imam plays a big role. We'll discuss about that tomorrow. Right? The role that the leader plays in establishing this culture, this civilization of giving and a social lifestyle. Now, again, you know, some people might get the wrong idea that this is, that I'm talking about socialism. This is not socialism, right? Socialism is when you make the law and make people give. No, that's not what Islam wants. Islam wants you to be a brother and feel the need of giving and give. Come together based on that. That's where Islam wants us to reach. That goal is reached in this way. My friends, I mean, it is something that we see in our life. You know, I will say this, right, that Imam Hussein will play a huge role. Will play a huge role in making this muwasat become a reality. You see it happening already. My friends, you see it happening already. You know that. You know? This is something strange. If I can ask everyone to move up, please. Just move up all the way, inshallah, because there's people coming. You see this right now. What is happening in the Arba'in of Imam Hussain? What is it happening there? I mean, this is what's been happening in Shias in small places everywhere. You know, people, we, because of Imam Hussain, have learned to give what we have. Then what we have, they give it. Subhanallah. And you see that in Arba'in, it's happening. Because of Imam Hussain, it's happening. I mean, isn't that in our eyes we see this happening right now? But yes, we are sharing everything. No need for a government to come and organize anything. No, our sharing and our giving is enough. Really, our sharing and our giving is enough to make everything happen. Just what we have, we give it. We become stronger. No one is in need. No one is crying except for the right reason. No one is hungry. No one is in need. Everyone is there to look after each other. Isn't this Muwasat? Isn't this what's happening right now? There's so many stories now that Arba'in and this whole movement has started. There's so many stories, you know. There was this one person, you know, who had opened his house. You know how they do in Iraq, you know, that everyone, like, for example, open their house for, you know, Zahirin to come inside. Karbala and Najaf, you see everywhere you go, they just open their house and here you come inside. And so what happened is that this one person had opened his house. He was alone. His family had gone to their relatives, so he was hosting everyone. And this group that came there, right, we were sitting there and, you know, doing this. And we saw that the house is very poor. They hardly have anything. You know, everything is torn. Everything is like worn out. Everything is there. The bathrooms are like, you know, in very bad condition. Everything is like that, you know. But when he made the food and the food came out, the food was extravagant. I mean, you know, it was really like, wow. You know, I mean, they had the spread was like, wow. You spent a lot of money on this spread here, you know. That's not cheap, you know. I mean, so he was asked that, listen, your house, it seems that there's a lot of poverty, but the food is like, you know, expensive. I mean, how can you afford this? What do you do? He says, oh, we'll talk about it later. You know, eat your food first. Okay, what do we do? What do you do for this, you know? And then he mentions it and says, you know, I sell cigarettes. You know, that, you know, those people on the road, they take out a tray and they sell cigarettes. That's how he earns his income, earning cigarettes. And I told my family that half of our income will be for the Arba'in of Imam Hussain. The other half will spend on us. I mean, how much money do you make with that? But you know what? The whole year he's selling these cigarettes in a tray, right? And half of that he spends on the food so that the people, the Zahirin of Imam Hussain, they can eat well. My friends, this is, you know, when you see this happening in life, this is how it is. La ilaha illallah. You know, all we need to see when Imam Hussain was in a moment of pondering, Ali Akbar, asked him that, Father, what is the matter? And Imam Hussain said, the path that we are going. Ali Akbar said, are we not on haqq? Are we not on haqq? On the truth? Imam Hussain said, yes, we are. Then Ali Akbar said, then what is the worry? What is the worry? A personality like Ali Akbar, he wasn't just a youngster, my friend. He wasn't a youngster, he's another youngster, no. Ali Akbar was such a huge personality that no matter where he came, he would be the center of attraction. His personality would be like youngsters and elders would admire him. Imam Hussain was saying the truth when he said that Hussain is the exact replica of Rasulullah in his surat and in his sirat. You see, surat is one thing, he's the grandson, fine. But he said that his sirat, his akhlaq are the akhlaq of Rasulullah. My friends, this is something amazing to see that. It is said that every time people used to come to Medina, that those who have seen Rasulullah, they would come to Medina and they would ask for Ali Akbar. Or they would come after Ali Akbar. One story goes that Ali Akbar was walking on the street and he came into his house. And some people followed him and they knocked at the door of the house and they were let in. Imam Hussain was sitting with his companions there. And they said that, we saw Rasulullah walk in here. We saw Rasulullah walk in here. Imam Hussain said, no, that's not Rasulullah. That is my grandson. That's my son, Ali Akbar. That's my son, Ali Akbar. He said, we want to see him. And when Ali Akbar came out, they were stunned to see that Ali Akbar, we don't see any difference between him and Rasulullah. Friends, imagine Hussain grew up like that. Can I say something about Imam Hussain and Ali Akbar? Let me give a background, my friend, so you see this. Imam Hussain is a person who has a lot of love to give. His personality was like that. Anyone that he loves, he would give so much love to them. It's amazing. And everyone that Hussain loved, Allah took away. Allah took him away. It was hard for Imam Hussain. Hussain loved Rasulullah. But Allah took Rasulullah away from him. In fact, Rasulullah himself said, Ali, put Hussain on my chest when I'm dying. Hussain lost him. It was hard for Hussain. It was hard. And then after that, soon after that, Allah took Fatima, Hussein's mother, away from him. When Fatima died, Hussain was broken. He was heartbroken. He was looking at the janazah of Bibi Fatima from far away. He was heartbroken. My friends, then he had Imam Ali, his father. He gave all his love to his father. He was so endeared to his father. He was so close to his father that a time came when Allah took Imam Ali away from Hussain. When Imam Ali died, Hussain was heartbroken again. Hussein was heartbroken again. Hussein went in front of Allah and then he said, Allah, you took my grandfather, you took my mother, you took my father, everyone that I loved away from me. Then Allah said that Hussein, I will give you something in exchange. I will give you something in exchange for everything I took away from you. It was after Imam Ali died that Ali Akbar was born. Allah gave Ali Akbar to Hussein, that Hussein, now shower your love on him. You have love to give, here's Ali Akbar. Love him as much as you want. And so Hussein loves Ali Akbar. He just poured his love on Ali Akbar. He loved him so much. He showered his love on him in so much that when Allah said, but remember, when you pour all your love into him, Hussein, I will ask him back from you. Yes, now that time came on Ashura when Ali Akbar, when the companions of Imam Hussein, they all went and they gave their lives. The first one amongst Bani Hashim, now Bani Hashim are left. Bani Hashim are left, the family of Hussein is left, and so Ali Akbar, without anyone saying it, came to Imam Hussein and said, Father, allow me to go. Allow me to go. And Imam Hussein, without any hesitation, said, go, Ali Akbar, go. Go to the battlefield. So when Ali Akbar got the permission from Imam Hussein, he started walking towards his horse so he can go to the battlefield. When Hussein saw him walking, he said, Ali Akbar, where are you going? He said, you asked me to go to the battlefield. He said, Ali Akbar, not like this. Go and meet your aunts inside. Go and meet Zainab. Get farewell from her. When Imam Hussein told that to Ali Akbar then looked at the text and started to shake with fear. He's not afraid to face the army. But how do I face my aunt Zainab? How do I face my sister? How will they let me go? It is said that when he went inside, two things. When he went inside, first he went to the tent of Bibi Zainab. He saw Bibi Zainab sitting on the ground. And then Ali Akbar saw that she's sitting on the ground. How can I go to her? How will I ask her for permission? How will I ask her to let me die? So it is said that he went inside and immediately put his head in the lap of Bibi Zainab. He put his head in the lap of Zainab. And when she saw him there, she started to fondle his hair. And then he said, that Aunt Zainab, I have a question for you. I have a question for you. I am like your son, you raised me. I am like your son, you raised me. Tell me, I have a question. She said, what is it, my dear? He said, Mother, can you answer this question? Who's more important? Is the son of Fatima more important or is your son more important? Bibi Zainab said, of course. Fatima's son is more important. Who's more important? Is Fatima more important or are you more important? He said, Fatima is more important. Where is Zainab? Where is Fatima? Aina Zainab wa aina al-Fatima? He said, so if that's the case, tell me, are you willing to sacrifice your son for the son of Fatima? Zainab said, if you put it like that, son, I have no choice. You give me no choice. So now Ali Akbar wants to leave the tents. It's taking long. Why is it taking long? See, Ali Akbar is inside the tents of the ladies with his sisters there. Ruqayya, Sukaina, everyone is there. Some aunts are there. The mother is there. Everyone is there. It's taking long. Everyone is saying their farewell. And the army starts to shout out, "What happened, Hussein? Don't you have anyone to fight us? Don't you have anyone to send to us?" So Hussein comes to the tent and see what's going on here. He opens the tent and he sees that everyone is holding on to some part of Ali Akbar and pulling him. Ali Akbar, don't go, Ali Akbar. Don't go, Ali Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Ali Akbar comes out. He comes to the horse. He comes to the horse. And now he's going to go. Hussein lets him go. The horse starts trotting. It starts trotting towards the battlefield. And as the horse goes towards the battlefield, Ali Akbar sees a shadow following him. He sees a shadow that's following him. He looks around to see who's there in the backside. Who's there in the backside? And he sees that his father is following him. He says, "Father, what happened? I thought you let go of me." Imam Hussein looked at him and says, "Ali Akbar, you don't know how hard it is to let a son like you go away." "But go, my son." So then when he went, he made this dua. Hussein made this dua, raised his hands to the sky and says, "Allah be a witness that I'm sending to the battlefield who in every aspect of his face and every aspect of his akhlaq is the resemblance of Rasulullah." And so Ali Akbar goes to the battlefield. Ali Akbar goes to the battlefield. And, Ali Akbar is a trained warrior. He has trained under Abbas. He is not someone that you are going to easily defeat. Ali Akbar, when he starts fighting, someone comes to fight him, and in moments, he puts them to the ground. And then another one comes, and in few moments, he puts them to the ground. And the amount of people who die start piling on each other. When one dies, Ali Akbar says, "Ba'di," bring the next one. Send the next one. There's a pile. He is now taking that horse and making it jump over the piles. When they see that, Abbas, he's looking at that, and Ali Akbar looks towards Abbas to see my uncle, what I'm doing here. You see my battle. Never had a chance to be in a battle. Ali Akbar starts fighting. And then they make a plan. That we are going to get Ali Akbar. But when they see that there's no one there, Ali Akbar at one point sees no one is there. So he comes back. He comes back to Imam Hussein. This is it, my friends, just a few things I want to say here. And I want you to feel the emotion of Imam Hussein at this point. See this. When Ali Akbar comes back and Imam Hussein says, "Ali Akbar, what happened? Why did you come back?" He says, "They don't want to fight me. Everyone is running away from me. If I had a few drops of water, I would have the strength to go after them and kill them. But I don't have water." When Hussein heard that, it is said that Hussein said, "Ali Akbar, come close to me and take the moisture from my tongue. I'll stick my tongue out, take the moisture from my tongue." Now here, I want to stop you here, my friends. Just make you understand this. You see, Hussein in this whole journey, never showed or expressed love for Ali Akbar. Like everyone would do for their children, right? They would hug them, they would kiss them, they would do something. Hussein never did that, because every time he wanted to do it, every time he wanted to kiss Ali Akbar, he will see that Qasim is watching. Qasim is watching. And he would look at Qasim and he would be ashamed to go near to Ali Akbar, that Qasim may think, oh, if I had my father with me. Hussein never had a chance to show love to Ali Akbar. Now that Ali Akbar is here, now Hussein says, now you come here and take the moisture from my tongue. Take the moisture from my tongue. So now, my friends, here's the thing. Now, at that moment he said that, Hussein has nothing to offer, because when Ali Akbar came close to him, he saw that Hussein is thirstier than Ali Akbar. He has thorns on his tongue. I mean, didn't Hussein knew that he had nothing to offer? Then Hussein knew that he could not give any moisture? Then why, Hussein? Why did you ask Ali Akbar to come close to you? Hussein would say, what can an old father do to express his love for his son? I saw that opportunity. I asked Ali Akbar to come close. As soon as Ali Akbar came close, I grabbed him and started kissing him. I grabbed him and started kissing him, my son. There's no water here. Now your grandfather will give you water. When Ali Akbar heard that, he goes back. He goes back to the fighting. And then it so happened that someone attacked Ali Akbar with a spear from the backside. Ali Akbar was facing the army, and this coward came from the backside. Ali Akbar could not turn around, and that spear embedded itself in the back of Ali Akbar and came out from the front side. Now Ali Akbar sees the spear coming out of his chest. He is gasped. He could not breathe anymore. As he could not breathe anymore, he started to faint. And when he fainted, he didn't fall off the horse. He fell on the head of the horse, on the mane of the horse. His head rested over there. And the horse, instead of coming back to Imam Hussein, went to the army of Yazid. It went inside the army. When it went inside the army and they saw that Ali Akbar is unconscious, he could not defend himself, they took out their swords and they slashed his back. So many strikes on his back that his back was bleeding everywhere. When Ali Akbar fell to the ground, Hussein ran to the battlefield. Hussein ran to the battlefield. When he came to Ali Akbar, he saw that Ali Akbar's eyes are wide open and they're looking at Hussein. But he cannot talk. He is gasping for blood. He's gasping for breath. Imam Hussein comes close to Ali Akbar. Sees, my son, what is wrong with you? Tell me what is wrong with you. Because the front part of the spear had broken apart. He could not see that front part that was stuck inside the chest. He was looking at Ali Akbar. Ali Akbar, what's going on? Ali Akbar was convulsing now. He was convulsing. He was now jerking. His knees are jerking. His hands are jerking. Ali Akbar, what's going on with you? Then Hussein sees that spear is stuck inside. Spear that is stuck inside his chest. He says, is this what's bothering you, my son? Is this what's bothering you? Let me take this out from you. That spear is stuck between the bones. So now Hussein, as he tries to take it out, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. And every time he starts taking it out, the legs are hitting the ground. The legs are hitting the ground, being dragged on the ground as Hussein is taking out. Can I say it this way? I will say this. As Hussein is taking this out, he calls out, he might have called out to Ibrahim and said, Ibrahim, let me show you how it's done. Let me show you how it's done. There is no blindfold on my eyes. My hands are not shaking. Hussein, when he takes it out, Ibrahim, this is how Zib Azim is done. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. یا محمود بحق محمد، یا اللہ بحق علی، یا فاطر السماوات بحق فاطمہ، یا محسن بحق حسن، یا قدیم الحسان بحق حسین، ماتم حسین.
Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein.
زخم دل کے دکھاؤں میں کیسے، زخم دل کے دکھاؤں میں کیسے، تیرا لاشا اٹھاؤں میں کیسے، اکبر میرا سحر آوالا، اکبر اکبر میرا سحر آوالا، اکبر زخم دل کے دکھاؤں میں کیسے، زخم دل کے دکھاؤں میں کیسے، تیرا لاشا اٹھاؤں میں کیسے، اکبر میرا سحر آوالا، اکبر میرا سحر آوالا، زخم دل کے دکھاؤں میں کیسے، زخم دل کے دکھاؤں میں کیسے، تیرا لاشا اٹھاؤں میں کیسے، میرا سحر آوالا، اکبر میرا سحر آوالا، لاش اکبر پہ جاہ جب پہنچے، دل کو ہاتھوں سے تھام کر بولے، تیری فرقت میں اے علی اکبر، آگ دل میں میرے لگا دی ہے، آگ دل کی بجھاؤں میں کیسے، آگ دل کی بجھاؤں میں کیسے، تیرا لاشا اٹھاؤں میں کیسے، اکبر میرا سحر آوالا، اکبر میرا سحر آوالا، تو ہے کڑیل جوان اے بیٹا، باب تیرا ضعیف ہے کتنا، نور آنکھوں کا ہو گیا رخصت، پھر آتا نہیں نظر خیمہ، لے کے خیموں میں جاؤں میں کیسے، لے کے خیموں میں جاؤں میں کیسے، تیرا لاشا اٹھاؤں میں کیسے، اکبر میرا سحر آوالا، اکبر میرا سحر آوالا، جس نے 18 سال پالا تھا، کیسے دیکھے گی وہ تیرا لاشا، تیری شادی کا تھا جسے ارماں، کیسے جھیلے گی وہ تیرا صدمہ، تیری ماں کو بتاؤں میں کیسے، تیری ماں کو بتاؤں میں کیسے، تیرا لاشا اٹھاؤں میں کیسے، بھائی بہنوں کا ہے عجب رشتہ جس کا ثانی نہیں کوئی ملتا. رو کے صغرا نے یہ کہا اکبر ایک دکھیا کی لاج رکھ لینا. مر گیا تو بتاؤں میں کیسے, مر گیا تو بتاؤں میں کیسے, تیرا لاشا اٹھاؤں میں کیسے. لطف جینے میں اب کہاں اکبر, دل سے اٹھتی ہے یہ فغاں اکبر. صبح عاشور دی تھی جو تو نے خور لائے کی وہ عزاں اکبر. تیری صورت بھلاؤں میں کیسے, تیری صورت بھلاؤں میں کیسے, تیرا لاشا اٹھاؤں میں کیسے. اکبر میرا سحر والا اکبر, اکبر میرا سحر والا اکبر. دیکھ آیا ہے قاصدِ صغرا, راہ تکتی ہے وہ دکھی بہنا. تجھ کو بیمار نے بلایا ہے, وعدہ صغرا کا کیوں بھلا ڈالا. غم یہ دل سے لگاؤں میں کیسے, غم یہ دل سے لگاؤں میں کیسے, تیرا لاشا اٹھاؤں میں کیسے. رے آواز لاش اکبر پیشہ جب پہنچے, دل کو ہاتھوں سے تھام کر بولے تیری فرقت میں اے علی اکبر, آگ دل میں میرے لگا دی ہے. آگ دل کی بجھاؤں میں کیسے, آگ دل کی بجھاؤں میں کیسے, تیرا لاشا اٹھاؤں میں کیسے. سحر والا اکبر میرا سحر من تامن منہاری اکبر تو نہ آیو. 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 میں صدقے میں واری اکبر تو نہ آیو. من تامن منہاری نہ آیو. من تامن کی جینا بھیڑا دا باج بھراواں دے, کی جینا بھیڑا دا باج بھراواں دے. ہائے رل گئی بہن پیاری اکبر تو نہ آیو. رل گئی بہن پیاری اکبر تو نہ آیو. من تامن منہاری اکبر تو نہ آیو. من تامن منہاری اکبر تو نہ آیو. میں صدقے میں واری اکبر تو نہ آیو. من تامن منہاری اکبر تو نہ آیو. من صدقے میں واری اکبر تو نہ آیو. نانے دے روزے تے جا کے دات دنے, نانے دے روزے تے جا کے رات دنے. ہائے رو رو عرض گزاری اکبر تو نہ آیو. رو رو عرض گزاری اکبر تو نہ آیو. من تا منهاری من تو نا میں صدقے میں واری اکبر تو من تا خواباں دے وچ ویکھی ڈھوری جھولے دی خواباں دے وچ دیکھی ڈھوری جھولے دی ہائے رہ گیا جھولا خالی اصغر تو نہ آئے رہ گیا جھولا خالی اصغر تو نہ آئے من تا منہاری اکبر تو نہ آئے من تا منہاری اکبر تو نہ آئے میں صدقے میں واری اکبر تو نہ آیو میں صدقے میں واری رو رو زینب کہندی سین سکینہ نو رو رو زینب کہندی سین سکینہ نو ہائے میں درداں دی ماری اکبر تو نہ آیو میں درداں دی ماری اکبر تو آیو من تا منہاری اکبر تو نہ آ من تا منہاری اکبر تو نہ آیو میں صدقے میں واری اکبر تو نہ آ ڈونگیاں شامہ پاگیو اکبر صغرانو ڈونگیاں شامہ پاگ اکبر صغرانو ہائے رل گئی بہن پیاری اکبر تو نہ آیو مل گئی بہن پیاری اکبر تو نہ آیو من تا منہاری
Ya Hussein, sit down please for a minute. خوب بنگر بر زمین مثل این که میگذارد پا پیمبر بر زمین عرش اگر عرش خداست چون که ساییده به پایش بارها سر بر زمین او رجز میخواند و لرزه میاندازد از فریاد حیدر بر زمین از حریفان نبرد قبل از این که سر بیفتد خورده پیکر بر زمین تیغ میچرخاند و بی سر افتاده است لشکر روی لشکر بر زمین دشت شد دریای نور با قدی خم آمده خورشید محشر بر زمین مثل اشک فاطمه آسمان لرزید تا افتاد اکبر بر زمین زخم شد پیشانیش تا کشد او را شبیه مرتضی بر زمین نیزه بالا رفته است بگذریم از این که پهلویش به زهرا رفته است جان میریزد به هم، جان میریزد به هم، چهره ساقی در این هنگام میریزد به هم. او سراپا مصطفاست، اشبه الناس بالنبی خلقا و خلقا و منطقا. او سراپا مصطفاست، پس اگر ریزد به هم، اسلام میریزد به هم. راه را گم می کند آه از آن ساعت که اسب رام میریزد به هم. دیگه چشمهای اسب جای رو ندید، خون سر علی اکبر فوران کرد. یه نانجیبی افسار اسب رو گرفت آورد تو لشکر. زود تا ذبحش کنن پیش بابایش، سپاه شام میریزد به هم. آه بابا السلام، خیمه ها را با همین پیغام میریزد به هم. زود می آید حسین روی زانویی که در هر گام میریزد به هم. روی نعش یک جوان پیرمردی بشنود دشنام میریزد به هم. وای اگر بادی وزد تکای پیکرش آرام میریزد به هم. بس که از هم ریخته وقت تشییع تنش، احکام میریزد به هم. قصد غربت می کند با علی اکبرش، این گونه صحبت می کند. خودت از سر گم شده بابا، خودت از سر گم شده، جوشنت هم در تنت آهی دلاور گم شده. با کمر بند علی آمدی میدان و حالا ارث حیدر گم شده. در تمام پیکرت لابلای زخم نیزه، زخم خنجر گم شده. در دهانت آنقدر خاک و خون رفته، صدایت سوی انجر گم شده. هرچی که از نبی عبدالله نتونست پیکر علی اکبر رو جا به جا کنه، رو کرد به سمت خیمه. جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید، علی را بر در خیمه رسانید. خدا داند که من طاقت ندارم، علی را بر در خیمه رسانم. جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید، جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید، علی را بر در خیمه رسانید، علی را بر در خیمه رسانید. جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید، جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید، علی را بر در خیمه رسانید، علی را بر در خیمه رسانید. خدا داند که من طاقت ندارم، خدا داند که من طاقت ندارم، علی را بر در رسانم، علی را بر در خیمه رسانم. جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید، جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید، علی را بر در خیمه رسانید، علی را بر در خیمه رسانید. خدا داند که من طاقت ندارم، خدا داند
طاقت ندارم علی را بر در خیمه رسانم علی را بر در خیمه رسانم
جوانان بنی هاشم بیایید علی را بر در خیمه رسانید ای سری که بر نیزه همچو ماه تابانی ای سری که بر نیزه همچو ماه تابانی سرور شهیدانی سرور شهیدانی سرور شهیدانی سرور شهیدانی سرور شهیدانی سرور شهیدانی من که خسته ام بابا دل شکسته ام بابا قلب کوچک خود را بر تو بسته ام بابا همچو گل به دامانه همچو گل به دامانه دست دست ام بابا تو شقایقی زیبا این چنین مسلمانی سرور شهیدانی سرور شهیدانی سرور شهیدانی سرور شهیدانی با کمال بیرحمی دشمنت بیازردم با کمال بیرحمی دشمنت بیازردم در طریقت عشقت تازیانه ها خوردم در طریقت عشقت تازیانه ها خوردم ای سری که بر نیزه همچو ماه تابانی در برابر چشمم روی نینمایانی سرور شهیدانی سرور شهیدانی سرور شهیدانی سرور شهیدانی
سرور شهیدانی سرور شهیدانی یا حسین 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 وہ عابد بیمار تھا وہ عابد بیمار تھا چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا اور شام کا بازار تھا اور مصطفیٰ کی بیٹیاں مولا حق امام یا حسین مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین وہ اصغر بے شیر تھا وہ اصغر بے شیر تھا اور حرملا کا تیر تھا پیاسا گلا کیوں کر کٹا کانپی زمین اور آسمان مولا امام یا حسن یا حسین مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین شبیر کی وہ لاڈلی شبیر کی وہ لاڈلی سینے پہ جو شہ کے پلی جس کی ابابن میں جلی منہ پر تماچوں کے نشان مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین امام یا حسن یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین شام غریباں چھا گئی شام غریباں چھا گئی عابد کو غیرت کھا گئی پہرے پہ زینب آ گئی عباس اور اکبر کہاں مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین 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 یا حسین